What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today on this video, we're going to go over one of the most important things in our sales scripts, in our sales process, which is when to disqualify a seller. Not the when to qualify, but when to disqualify a seller. For you guys who do not know who I am, my name is Gino Palumbo, real estate investor here in Atlanta, Georgia. Our company mostly wholesale. So far, we're at 110 contracts signed this year, about 65 closed. Our closing process is 60 days ahead of time. So the deals that we closed in May are locked up on contracts in May. They're closing now. So it's all delayed a little bit. I know it says like 50%, but by the time the months start coming up, we should be closed about 70% of those deals. And then hopefully by the end of the year, we'll do close to $4 to $5 million in wholesale and real estate. So to get into the details of this video is we're going over when to disqualify a seller. Now, I think that's the most important part in a lead management process by far is know when to disqualify, not when to qualify, but when to disqualify is just as important, maybe even more important to do. So in order to talk about this, we need to also know that in our company, our sales process, we have lead managers and we have acquisition managers, or we also call them home buying specialists. But a lead manager's job is to go through all of our leads. Once they get pushed to our CRM from texting, cold calling, all our marketing sources, they get pushed to our CRM, customer relationship manager. And in there, that's when the lead manager at the first touch, right? Even though it got pushed into there, they don't go straight to getting an offer from our acquisition manager. The lead manager needs to warm up the lead, qualify the lead, see if this is going to be a lead that's even worth our acquisition manager's time. That's all they're doing. And so with that being said, their job is to talk to as many people as possible that want to sell their house. And a big key in there is to as many people as possible, right? And they need to disqualify and get the acquisition managers or home buying specialists as many appointments as possible, right? And how do they do that? They do that by searching for the motivation of the seller. That's our most important thing. But what goes into play here is, like I said, they need to talk to as many people as possible. So they can't just be talking to a seller for 30 minutes who doesn't want to sell their property. We have a strict protocol for our lead managers. If they're on the phone with the seller for more than 4.5 minutes, it needs to be an appointment. There should be no reason you're on the phone with someone more than 4.5 minutes that doesn't turn into an appointment. Because what you see and what you probably have already witnessed for yourself is like, it feels pretty good to, stay on the phone with someone that actually wants to talk to you. Right, we're so used to every day, and even though we're not cold calling, we're talking to leads, like we're used to every day, those lead managers, like someone that says, I don't really want to sell. I don't really need to sell. If you give me the highest price, and they just get us off the phone. But when we get that one seller that says, well, I want market value, but Gina, thanks for talking about my family. I love my family. Thanks for talking about we have the favorite sports team together. Like you'll be on the phone with someone for 20 minutes because they're telling you their life story, but it's not a deal or appointment as a lead manager. And we can't have that happen. We need to disqualify, get them off the phone. We need to know right in the beginning when the seller says, just give me the highest property or highest price possible. I'm only selling because you called. They aren't going to sell to someone like us. And so we need to get off the phone with them and get on the phone with someone else. So as a lead manager, when I tell them to start disqualifying this right away, look, we're going to start setting expectation with the seller. We have our script, like, hey, I'm going to ask you a couple questions, all this. But if they start telling us at any point in the script, like, just make me an offer. And we're going to skip all all of our other processes in our script, all the other sales process, asking about condition, roadblocks, timeline, all that stuff. We'll skip that and go straight into motivation because that's the lead manager's job, is to find people that are motivated to sell their house. And so if a seller at all gives us cues at any point in the script that they're not going to be a fit, right? You call them up, they're like, Gino, just make me an offer. Just make me an offer. Well, I got to ask you some questions. I don't care about your questions, Gino. Just make me an offer. Well, then my next thing as a lead manager, what I teach our guys to do, and again, that's like 40 seconds in the call, is, okay, well, I can get you an offer, but first I need to see if we're a fit. What even had you thinking of selling? And if they say anything like, oh, I don't need to sell, it's because you called, you texted me, or you called me, I don't need to sell, I don't want to sell, I don't have to sell, and they tell me like that in their motivation, I'm taking them off. I'm going to say, hey, look, we're just not going to be a fit for you, right? I might bring up price in some case, and if they're asking, hey, I see other investors are buying properties, and I'll anchor them. Again, I see other investors, or blaming other investors buying properties like 60-70% of Zillow. And just to see if they'll say, well, just to test them, but 99% of the time they'll be like, well, no, I still want blank, which is market value. Well, we're getting off the phone within 4 minutes, right? Because we want to get to that next person. We know the needle in the haystack, right? For example, our average about a month or two ago and I haven't looked at it recently because I'm not in charge of lead managers anymore, but was 70 calls would get us appointment. Why? Because 70 calls, we had 20% conversation rate. Out of 70 calls, we would talk to 14 people, 20%. And out of those 14 people, we'd get one appointment. That's the goal for a lead manager, one appointment a day. And so with that one appointment, they need to talk to 14 people. And if this guy's not a fit at all, move on. We want to talk to the next 13 people so we can get that appointment. So very important. It's different than acquisition management, right? And that's what I'm getting to is when you disqualify seller and lead manager, you can do it right away. I want to do it quick. I want to do it rapid. And I want to go into always ask motivation before I tell them I'm not a fit. But as soon as I see that motivation isn't there, I'm going on to the next person. Now for AMs, I had this talk of our AMs recently is because they got to the point where now they have an appointment set, and that's when our home buying specialists, our AMs, acquisition managers, are touching these leads. We don't want to disqualify as fast, right? Because they've already been qualified to come to us, right? They've already qualified to be appointment. So we don't want to disqualify as fast. Now what we do is, we push them away after we give them our price. And that's what I'm getting to is they might not seem that motivated because sometimes they are or not. They might just have a discounted price in the beginning when we're talking to them. But what we're going to do is we're going to ask them as many motivation questions as possible. If they don't give it to us, that's fine. We're still going to give them our price, right? Because there's a reason they got pushed to an appointment, whatever it is. And most likely if it has no motivation, there's a price discounted. And so we give them that offer, right? And then from there is when we'll start disqualifying them. So there's a 10, 15 minute process before we just decide to disqualify them, even if they don't have motivation. And why is that different, guys? Again, because there's a reason they got set to an appointment. Usually 90% of our appointments, there's a motivation is the reason they push it, right? This person really has a reason they want to sell. But what happens when they don't and they just want a price? Well, it's probably because they have some sort of discounted price, right? They might be asking $150 on a property that's worth $195. Right? It's not a home run deal yet, but it's something discounted. And then we'll disqualify. We'll say, hey, the property qualified for $145. Oh, that's not a fit? That's too low for you. You want $195? Okay, well, we might not always be the fit. You might be better route might be just to list it on the market. And again, I'm making this video to show you how it's a little different. LMs were qualifying, disqualifying as much as possible, as fast as possible. AM side of it, we're holding on to it a little longer and waiting until after we give the actual offer. Not just right away, like why don't you just list it on the market during motivation? We're not going to do that for a acquisition manager appointment call. But anyway, I just want to clarify for you guys. A lot of people have been asking me, when do you disqualify, blah, blah, blah. It just depends on your role, lead management or AM. And LM, we know as soon as possible. AM, we don't do it as fast because that lead, there's a reason it's got pushed an appointment. And LM believed that it should be an appointment for a reason. And so we don't do it till after we give them our price. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please take a picture of you watching it, tag me on Instagram, leave any comments down below. If you want to see any other videos, leave it down below. And please hit that like button. And thanks again for watching.